Hello viewers, welcome to the YouTube. You are listening to the host of this channel, that is Sushil Shalot, and in this video we'll be studying or we'll be seeing the demonstration on VLOOKUP and SWITCH. So we have already seen the VLOOKUP function in earlier video and the switch function in my earlier video, but now in this video we'll be talking about or we'll be discussing about VLOOKUP and switch nested together. So let's get on to the Excel workbook and see how this function has to be nested together. So these days most of the banks are trying to reward their customers or clients to use the debit card more and more, and to encourage them, to motivate them to use it more and make the spends more and more. There are certain cashbacks, certain percentage of cashbacks returned or rewarded to the customers based on their spends. So in this database, we are seeing the serial number, customer ID, customer status. The customer status is divided or is basically the three categories of the customer, that is basic, preferred and premium. And then in the next column, that is column D, we are seeing the spends in thousands of rupees. Here I consider the currency as rupee. The currency can be any other currency also. In column E, we are going to find out what is the cashback percent that the customer will enjoy, and then in column F, the cashback value. So here the spends in thousands are noted down or listed up to one decimal place after the decimal point. Well, on the right side we see in the columns H to O for the various categories of customer, basic, preferred and premium. For the various thousands of rupees spent annually, say 60, 70, 80, 90 and so on and so forth, the corresponding cashback is mentioned in the next column, that is column number 2, that is 1%, 1.25% and so on and so forth. Well, before we get on to the actual nesting of VLOOKUP and switch, let me revise what is VLOOKUP and what is switch function. So in VLOOKUP, a lookup value that is on the leftmost side of a table array is chosen, and then in the table array it is compared or looked up or matched up. And then the matched up value, the column number in which the matchup result is there, the column index is returned. So the column index is number 1, the leftmost column, number 2, the next one, and so on and so forth. And finally, the range lookup. The range lookup can be the exact match that is represented by true or one number in numericals, or the range lookup is represented by false, that is number 0 in numerical. So false will be the exact match and true will be approximate match. For example, if the basic value of 60 is not matched exactly, then 60.1 will be the next approximate match. But well, let's get on to the actual ones so that this will be more explanatory and informative and understood very well. Before we go to that, let me talk about the switch function. Friends, before you go ahead with this video, I will recommend that you see the VLOOKUP video and the switch video which are available at the channel. Do subscribe the channel and watch these videos as well as many more other videos. But well, watching these two videos is a must, that is what I can say. So let me just brief you about the switch function, or the rather let us revise the switch function. In a switch function, a expression is taken up. Expression can be a numerical value or a text value. Then amongst a set of values, this expression will be looked up, and the value with which it matches, the corresponding result will be returned. So if for example, the expression matches with a value n, then the result n will be returned as output. So this is how the switch function works. Well, before wasting any more time on discussions and revisions of these two functions, let me get on to the actual task. So here what I'm going to do is starting here in this cell E3 with the VLOOKUP function, and the lookup value here will be the spend in thousands here. So well, with this, the next thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the switch function to represent the table array. So I'm going to write switch, and instead of table array, the switch function will play role of the table array. So in switch, the first thing required, the argument is the expression. The expression here will be the customer status. This customer status is text value here. Well, so as I said already, the expression can either be a numerical or a text. In our case, it is text. And the first thing what is going to be the value 1 is the value basic. And for this basic value, or this basic value 1. The result one will be the array here from column H and I, that is cell H6 to I10. I'm going to log this with function F4. The next thing what is required is the value 2. The value 2 here will be preferred. Friends, let me tell you, there should not be a single spelling mistake in this, else all the efforts of writing the function will go waste. So for this preferred value 2, I'm going to choose this array as the result to lock it with function F4. The last thing, or the third one that I'm going to choose, is the premium. For premium value 3, this will be the result 3. Again, I'm locking it. Once done, I'll close the parenthesis and give comma. Once I have done with this, I come back to the VLOOKUP function, and the next thing what it requires is the column index number. As you see, in the first column, the customer status, that is basic, preferred and premium, is stated, and in column number 2 the cashback percentage is stated. So for us the column index number is 2, that is of our interest. And finally, what do I need to return? So the lookup range here can be true or false. Now I'm going to choose true because the match here will be approximate and not exact match. So for example, if the value is 222,000, it will go and search into the table array for the nearest value of 222. There are values as for the preferred customer for 200,000 spends and 225 spends. So since 222 is larger than 200, it will opt to choose the cashback corresponding to the preferred value or the preferred customer's spends of 200,000, and that is what it will return. As I already said, true is represented by 1 and false is represented by 0. So exact match corresponds to 0 and approximate match corresponds to 1. So I'm going to put in 1 here and close the parenthesis. Friends, I'll just give you a moment to grasp this function, whatever I have written, the the parameters I have chosen, and the reason why I have chosen them. I already explained you them already. I'll just revise it once again. So in VLOOKUP, the lookup value is from cell D3. For the table array, I have used the function switch. In switch, the expression I have chosen as C3, which will give the customer status. If at all the customer status is basic, that is value 1, then the result one will be from cell H6 to cell I10. Or if the value 2 is preferred, then the corresponding result 2 will be as you see on the screen, and the third value is value 3. If it is premium, then the corresponding result 3 will be from cell N6 to O10. As a column index number, I have put in number 2, and then I require the true lookup, that is I have chosen the range lookup as true, and that corresponds to 1. So that is how I have put in all the values. I'm going to say enter, and as soon as I put in enter, I see the value of spend, that is 70,000 here, corresponds to the spend value here is 70,000. It corresponds to over here, the value here is 70, and for this 70 value the corresponding cashback is 1.25%, and this is what is returned over here. So this is how the things work, and this is very much simple and easy to understand now with this explanation. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to propagate this function to the corresponding cells below. So for example, now let's go get on to this value, that is 60.1 thousand rupees spent annual. The corresponding value of cashback is 1%, that we see here in cell E7. Fine, perfect. Now what happens if this value turns out to be lesser than 60? Let us go over there and let me tell you, if I choose as 58, I am sure it should return not applicable as a error. There it is, NA has appeared. The reason being that the value 58 is lesser than 60, and there is no corresponding value lesser than 60 for the cashback to be paid. So it is returning that not applicable. So if the customer has spent 58,000 in that year, he will not be entitled for any cashback. Vice versa. If at all he chooses 65,000, or if he has spent 65,000. There it is, the 1% is what it corresponds. As soon as it exceeds 70,000, there it is, the percentage of cashback changes. Now, this is how the VLOOKUP and switch are nested together to find out the percentage of cashback corresponding to the value of the customer status and the spends that the customer has done in thousands per annum. Now, as a bonus, I'll explain you something more. I'm going to talk about subtotal function. Before I do that, I'll just put in a filter here and sort these values, the customer values, based on their status. So I have chosen the basics ones to appear first, then the preferred ones, and finally the premium ones. So I have sorted out this database, and now let me explain you how can I use the subtotal function. Before that, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to find out the cashback value. The cashback value is nothing else but the spends in thousand into the percentage, and there it is. So I'm going to change the formatting here also. I'll take it up to 3 digits after decimal, and there it is. So now I have the setup done. I'm going to propagate this function for the corresponding cells below, and now I know what is the cashback value. So now it is 0.875 thousand rupees for the first customer, 0.888, sorry, that is 888 rupees as an cashback. The next one is 1.731, that is again in thousands, that is 1731, so on and so forth. Now we have got the values of the cashback very much available. So now what I'm going to do is somewhere in this database I have clicked it. I'm going to go to the data tab here and choose subtotal. In the subtotal, now what I'm going to choose here is at every change in. Now I want to see that for the basics, what is the change, for the preferred, what is the maximum cashback that is earned by a customer. So I'm going to go here and choose customer status. What do I require here is the maximum cashback. So in this drop down, I have choice to choose sum, count, average, max, mean, product, and many more such functions. So I'm going to choose the max value, and what max do I require here is the cashback value. So it is quite okay. Now I'm going to say OK, and as soon as I do that, what do I get here is the maximum value of the cashback earned by the customer who is having the basic status as 1.731. So if I choose these cells, 1.731 is the maximum that has been earned by the customer. The next one is the preferred. So amongst the preferred, the maximum value here is 6.426 thousand. So there it is. And for the premium, the maximum value is 14.003. So in this way, subtotal function can be very well used in conjunction with VLOOKUP and switch. So VLOOKUP and switch are nested, and subtotal has been used as a bonus to explain you how a subtotal function can be used to find out what is the maximum. So if at all I want to go over here and choose the subtotal function for, say, minimum. So now what I'm going to do here is instead of max, I'll choose minimum and say OK. So there it is. So I get the minimum values also here as an output for the three categories, that is basic, preferred, and premium. So in this way one can do it. Someone wants to know how much is the sum of the cashbacks paid to them. So there it is. I'm going to choose the sum from this drop down, and there it is. So basic total is 4.481. So if I choose these cells for the basic category, there it is. I see at the bottom here as 4.481. So friends, this is what I wanted to convey to you, how to use VLOOKUP and switch nested together. As a bonus, I also explained the subtotal function. I hope you have enjoyed this video. It has been interesting and informative for you. If at all, or certainly I am sure you have liked it. If you have liked it, please go to the channel page and express your thumbs up there. If you feel this is very much essential for any of your friends and colleagues, do share this video with them. And if you are new to this channel and if you have not subscribed this channel yet, I request you to subscribe it at the first thing that you can do, so that you can view and watch many more videos which are more informative and more useful to all the viewers. Well, I'll be keeping on coming with new videos every time, a new topic and informative topic a worthy video and a worthy topic. Keep watching the videos. I'll be back soon with you. Till then, take care. Goodbye.